and welcome back to another episode of Boggy's Burrow. Today we'll be taking a look at David E. Flynn's Cydonia. Many of you may be unfamiliar with Flynn, much less his book Cydonia, so we will start this journey off with a little bit of background before we dive into the mysteries and myths that unfold in this engaging and esoteric piece of literature. David E. Flynn was a Christian American author whose work focused on unraveling biblical mysteries. Flynn was born in Chicago in 1962 and tragically passed away in 2012 at the age of 49. Flynn would author two major books in his lifetime, the first being Temple at the Center of Time, which garnered much praise and focused on uncovering the secrets that Sir Isaac Newton was looking for and how much of history is tied to the temple in Jerusalem. However, it is Flynn's second published work that we will examine today, and this is Cydonia, the Secret Chronicles of Mars. Cydonia is a very interesting piece of literature, as it does not only examine the past, but it also uses the information found in myth and legend to gain insight into what is to come in terms of Bible prophecy. Flynn carefully examines landmarks, mythological tales, historical events, and biblical text to uncover the ancient war in the heavens and how Earth is in and of itself very ancient. Before we travel further into the mysteries of Cydonia, let me explain what Cydonia itself actually is. Cydonia is a specific region on Mars, where there appears to be the shape of what looks like a face. Cydonia has been studied by scientists as well as theorized about by the greater populace. Many have speculated that the face is not a natural structure, but is a link to some lost ancient civilization. Many scientists, however, believe it to be a naturally occurring part of the terrain, such as a hill. They also believe that this particular part of Mars was a coastal region and home to a long-dead ocean. Now that we have what exactly Cydonia the place is, we can return to the book itself. In his writings, Flynn proposes that the face on Mars is not naturally occurring, but rather is linked to ancient ruins of long-gone civilizations. However, unlike many conspiracy theorists, he does not propose that it is the craftsmanship of aliens, but rather that of something much more biblical. Flynn believed that in the time before the creation of Adam and before the rebellion of the angelic being that would come to be known as Satan, that the angels or principalities and powers of the air lived and ruled on the other planets. On these planets, such as Mars, they built great civilizations with pyramids and other cyclopean architecture. The civilization were believed to be extremely advanced, and when Satan and his host of rebellious angels thought to dethrone God, God brought about his wrath and destroyed these ancient cities and realms, leaving them in utter ruin. Flynn explores these ideas of ancient planetary kingdoms both by examining the texts of the Bible as well as extra-biblical literature such as the Book of Enoch, and even ancient mythology of the Romans, Greeks, and other earthly civilizations. In his arguments, he draws parallels between the mystery schools and their occult practices to what is taught to man by the fallen angels mentioned in Genesis and the Book of Enoch. Cydonia takes the biblical narrative we are familiar with and sets it onto a cosmic stage that many tend to turn a blind eye toward in favor of a more humanistic explanation. The book also discusses how the coming of the Antichrist may appear differently than many have thought, with Flynn believing the Antichrist will come in the guise of a supposedly benevolent extraterrestrial who claims to be the originator of the human race, and how much of UFO sightings that go unexplained are in fact connected to the fallen spiritual beings. All of this does sound far-fetched when looked at through the lens of a humanistic worldview. However, when approaching this kind of literature with a spiritual mindset that is often highlighted in the New Testament, it may not be so unbelievable. Look at Ephesians 6:12, for example. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Here we see a glimpse into the spiritual realm and how we fight against things we do not perceive with our fleshly senses. I hope all of you enjoyed this video. Cydonia has been one of the most intriguing reads for me, and I cannot wait to share more of the literature, lore, history, and more that I've been diving into as of late. I have placed a link to Cydonia, the Secret Chronicles of Mars, in the description if you want to check it out for yourself and pick up a hard copy. Thank you all for watching, and remember, if God is for us, no one can be against us.